It's a world of constant notifications and digital distractions. And are you truly connecting with your spouse even when we can be more connected? Well, today, we're going to dive into a challenge of syncing our hearts. I like that. In a tech-saturated age. It's time to move beyond the screen and jump into rediscovering the power of face-to-face connection. How about that? Let's get into it right now on the Home Haven Podcast. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Welcome to the Home to Haven Podcast. It's your home for faith-filled content that helps you communicate in your relationship. Welcome. Come on in. And we are those Turners.
We are.
We are the Turners. And we thank you so much for tuning in, for clicking the thumbnail, for downloading the podcast. It's going to be a great episode. If you get anything, any little nugget, anything that makes you smile or get encouraged, we ask you hit that like button and subscribe so you can get more content. And also, we ask you just copy and paste that link, text it, share it to someone, email it to someone that you think, well, hey, you know what? I think they'll like this.
That's right. Give us a rate and review. We love to hear from you and love to hear what you're liking, what you want to hear more of.
Absolutely.
So we love to hear from you in those messages. So keep those coming.
That's right.
We definitely appreciate every single one.
Be part of the community. So you can always direct message that, leave a comment. We've had some comments before of like, hey, you guys should talk about this. And also you can email hi at oakhavencompany.com and also send your comments and oops. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm. What you got going on over there?
Why I got to have something going on?
Your phone's going off in the middle of the podcast. I'm just asking.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today.
Okay.
Is these digital distractions.
Yes.
This thing we have called the phone that revolutionized the world.
Seems to be attached to our every single person.
Yeah, I heard that, the Gen Zers, it's like an extension of their arm.
Yeah, they really think of it as an extension of their person.
Of themselves, yeah. And I just cannot understand. And this is coming from someone, when the iPhones, even before the iPhones, I was getting new phones probably once every 6 months.
Okay.
I would go.
You were into the tech.
I was into the tech. I had to have the latest and greatest. The color. I remember when the color screens first came out. One of the first to have color screens. And then iPhones. I wasn't in line. I had a little.
You weren't that serious.
I had to work around.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. Gotcha.
But I was always, first for tech. And I don't understand how this is an extension of your life or yourself of
themselves. Yeah. Not just a big part of their life, but that's actually a part of themselves.
Yeah. Now think about that. So how does that play and how does that infiltrate and affect relationships?
Right. Because it obviously has to, if it's attached to every person, everywhere you go, there's so many digital distractions, right? And it's going to obviously affect relationships.
Well, the one thing we're seeing people, break up, and we've been watching Love Is Blind, and there's these big hooplas about TikTok, and if I find out that you message somebody and DM somebody, and somebody followed somebody else, and you like somebody's mess, and we're having these conversations and we're bringing in an unnecessary drama, I feel like.
Right. And especially in that case that you're talking about.
Okay.
They were saying the relationship was great. Everything was
great.
Perfect. They were in sync with each other. Everything was going smoothly, on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Going in the same direction.
Yeah.
Loving each other.
Yeah.
And then they got their phones back because they weren't able to.
Then they got their phones back and all hell broke loose.
Yeah. It was just
Isn't that something? That's a good point.
Yeah. So they were blowing up.
No tech, getting along, just falling in love.
Everybody's happy.
With no value seeing each other.
Yeah.
Get your phones back and can't even.
And ruined relationships
Done.
within the day.
Done.
Yeah.
Gone.
The first thing I got a notification I'm done with you. You know, it was just like,
my family said this, and my sister and my friends, and they said you were dating somebody, and now we've got other people involved.
Yeah.
And we're extending this social circle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And instead of protecting what really is important. So let's really dive into this, because I really feel like technology, even though we can be and are supposed to be more connected, it's driving us further and further apart.
Absolutely.
There's another one we watched. We watched Married at First Sight, and homeboy. I call him homeboy. I don't know, whatever they want to call him now.
Okay.
He sent a text to the wrong
He did.
female,
Yes, he sent
and
a
that
text.
text got him in trouble.
Yep.
They had to lie about
It
it.
started the end. It started the end of I mean, it was probably over it.
Right.
But yes, that was a huge factor in kind of destroying a couple relationships, and also building another one. That's how they were connecting is,
Right.
On the side through the phone,
Yeah.
which is a whole other topic that we could discuss.
Yeah.
But really, it's all those digital distractions, having the phone constantly on, using social media, listening to everything that's out there, and kind of filtering through that. So that is going to be affecting relationships, right? If you have a phone in your life, or, tune into anything.
It's just, and I know we have a short amount of time. There's a couple, Mia and Jack, and they actually met, of course, through technology. They met through a dating app.
Okay.
And so they were texting and messaging one another through the app.
Gotcha.
And it was kind of surface level things. What are you doing today? How was your day?
Yep.
Sending emojis and things like that. And then they take the next step, right? Okay, let's go ahead and meet face to face.
Okay.
They meet face to face.
Yeah.
And then you find out you have deeper conversations. And you're talking eyeball to eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
And as they got through it, they found that, hey, this is a preferred way of talking, because we're finding out more about each other than just,
right.
180 characters in the text. Well, now you kind of unlimited, but you get the point.
Yeah.
And so the point is, having face-to-face interaction, having face-to-face conversation is definitely going to be, I believe, a premium over text, because tone gets lost through text. It leaves open to interpretation.
100%. Yep.
And this digital device, as my alarm went off at the beginning of the podcast, allows now for distraction.
Yep.
Allows now for you to scroll, get lost in, you're laying in bed, and instead of talking to one another and developing and cultivating and fertilizing your relationship, you both are scrolling through your Instagrams, your
100%.
TikToks, laughing and watching videos in your own little world, and you get sucked in and pulled in. And they've got an emotional connection with your phone versus your spouse. Imagine if you said, I can't wake up without my wife.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
I can't start my day without kissing my wife, versus I can't start my day without the first thing I do is scroll.
Yeah, I was going to say, or the first thing you do when you wake up is you have to check your phone and see what your notifications are. Or that's the last thing you do before you turn off the lights, right? You're scrolling, or even the lights might even already be off, and you see you have the phone in the bed with you under the covers, right? And so that is a lot of people's day-to-day life. If that's the first thing they go to in the morning, they have it all day. It's the last thing that they do at night. We've heard that this is something that's actually really addicting. So the social media apps and everything are doing everything they can to keep you on the platforms as much as possible.
100%.
So it's even something that people start craving, right? Like, oh, I haven't scrolled my phone for a while. It's just like a natural reaction to pick up your phone and, pass the time or whatever. So in this day and age, that's a huge influence in our day-to-day lives. And we want to make sure our relationships are not falling into those tech traps that we see so often.
Yeah. Again, there's miscommunication that happens through your phones. There is the constant notification you touched on with the phones, where somebody's beeping and always buzzing.
Yes.
And it can open up doors if you have to be extremely intentional and put safeguards.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. I mean, it is so easy to get sucked into a portal of a lane you really don't want to be in, and getting content you really should not be getting, and liking things and going in and having conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
On both ends that can really, really do significant damage to trust in your marriage. And so, guys, if I'm speaking to you, put safeguards on your phones, be accountable with your phones. It's another conversation, but we have an open phone policy. I know my password. She knows mine. I know hers. We share phones regularly, and it is freedom for me. And I will argue it all day long.
Yeah.
The freedom it is to drive in the car and a notification goes off and I don't have to sweat.
Right.
It's so wonderful. And that's my phone and my privacy and my this. I don't need that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
When we're talking about marriage, two have become one.
Yeah.
And anything that's locked down and secret and silent and hidden away, unresolved issues that are buried, they never die.
That's right. So you don't have to be nervous or freak out if your phone's sitting here and I grab it real quick and say, hey, let me look up,
That is so, oh my God, that is so freeing.
when the restaurant's open, right?
Yeah.
Like, or can I, check the weather real quick?
Exactly.
And you're not like,
wait,
let me see
phone.
what, apps are open or whatever.
Exactly.
Or anything like that. So that's a huge one for us. I know when we were dating, we were very intentional about not having the phones out during those dates. And so we want to keep that going and not, let
Yes,
that
let's do that.
novelty.
What are some ways to kind of we're going to get on that. We're short on time because we can go on this, but that's one of the ways to avoid this digital distraction is create tech-free zones in your home. So we are sitting in a room, and when we're not podcasting, it's our sitting room, it's our board game room, reading room, devotional room, and it's a tech-free zone. Besides podcasting.
Yeah. Besides all the cameras.
Put all the cameras and lights and
Microphones.
iPads and microphones. But it's a room we can come into without technology and deplug.
Yeah.
When we have dinners, especially when we go out, when we're home, sometimes we watch television, but there are nights it's no TV night. We're going to sit and we're going to talk.
Yeah.
Children, parents, when we go out to eat, it's tech free, right? Because we want to create these boundaries. We want to show our children, yes, you can live without your phone.
Right.
And then human interaction, eyeball is much important because I want to build that connection with them now so that when they are 3, 4, 5 years from now, we have a connection. Everyone's not siloed through tech.
100%. And I was going to mention that too, like the dinner time, how if we're all eating, we make it a point to eat dinner together.
We have to
so
eat
we
dinner
are at the table. All 4 of us are there.
What if people would say it's not possible, right? Because soccer and dance and working late and everything like that, we just can't. We can't eat as a family.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would say, do you not want to, or is it truly not possible? So, there are going to be days where you're traveling and we can't literally eat together.
Right.
But we set it as a priority for our family that's really important to us. So we might have to make other choices in our lives to make sure that happens. And some other things we'll have to say no to. But that's something that's really important to us. So all 4 of us are at the table eating dinner. It's different if we're all at the table eating dinner, but I have my phone out.
100%.
And somebody's got their tablet out.
Yeah.
Or if all of the screens are off the table away, even if it is the TV, sometimes we have the TV on, but it's different than,
Jane's on
individually
his iPad, Elle's on her iPad, I'm on my phone, you're on your phone.
Or being so distracted you can't have a conversation with the 4 of us, right?
Yep.
So that for us is really important, and we put that into place. And so I wanted to bring it up because I think it's really important for us as parents to show our children that
100%,
because they pick up on that.
Yes.
They feel that, they notice that as much as you think they might not, they do.
Yep.
And so they are learning and absorbing all of that. And so we want to be good examples and also show them, like you said, that face-to-face conversation, that interaction that we're going to have as a family is really what's going to make them into the people that they're going to become.
Yep.
And so that is super important to us. So prioritizing that face-to-face conversation for discussions is a huge one.
Yep.
We also have tech-free spaces in our home. You mentioned the sitting room, but also we don't allow technology like in their bedrooms,
Correct.
things like that. When it comes to each other, we do have our phones in our rooms. And so sometimes you kind of get into that mode of you're on your phone, I'm on my phone. Do you ever think that that's an okay thing to do every once in a while? Would you?
Well, I was going to, and that leads us to, okay, if you as a family cannot eat dinner together because of schedule, whatever. All right, well then let's have intentional times of conversation.
Yeah.
Let's have times where, okay, once a week for us, when we go to bed, we're not going to have our phones.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk, and we're going to read together.
Right.
Or whatever together.
Yeah.
Because, you want to set intentional time and not allow the world to drive your relationship, but you have the reins.
Amen.
You have the vision. And in order for that vision to be accomplished, you've got to have a plan.
Amen.
And so plan it out and talk it out and follow through on it. You got to have tools to help you do that. But, that's something that we would strongly encourage. And it's helped, I believe, help us be sustained because we're pushing out the noise. We're pushing out what the world's narrative. We're deplugging from social media and those narratives.
Yeah.
And we are allowing ourselves to be filled with the truth of God.
Amen.
And we're allowing ourselves to have our own pace, and we're allowing ourselves to have our own narrative versus being sucked into the portals and the silos and the directions that the world wants us to.
Absolutely. So set those boundaries for your relationship and for your home that you can establish and put those into place and take those steps that you need to now so that you have the opportunity to communicate well with each other.
Put it on do not disturb, have times, right? And so when it's Friday night, date night, the phone goes away. If somebody calls, hey, I'm sorry. And I've said it, I'm out with my wife. Okay. Can't talk to you right now.
Yeah.
And so what does that do? It sets a boundary. It sets expectations for those who are calling. All right. His wife is first. It sets expectations for Jen.
Yeah.
That, okay.
Yeah.
When I'm out with her, I'm out with her. And it's not out of obligation or we went out to eat, but he was still doing business calls, answering emails, checking things, right? And she still does not feel prioritized. It's like you guys did not go out. And that's why she's saying
for
that.
Sure, 100%.
That's why she keeps quote unquote nagging is because she doesn't have your undivided, fully devoted attention.
Yeah. I was going to say, how great would that feel if your partner's like, hey, I'm putting all my distractions away. It's me and you. You're my top priority. Just saying that to them and then following through on that, right? Following through on those actions is something that is going to really strengthen your relationship.
Yeah. I don't want a job where I can't do that. I'm not going to have one. That's me though, right? I'm not going to be where you can, priorities.
Yeah.
Priorities.
100%.
Because if they can get you 24/7, the people that you live with and you're accountable to and accountable for should get you 24/7.
Yeah, for sure.
Before anything else. And I told someone today, I would rather be driving a Miata.
Okay.
And living in an apartment and still enjoying life than be stressed out.
Amen.
Because of something else.
Yeah.
And so make those priorities.
Absolutely. And I liked how you mentioned you can actually go out on a date night together, just the two of you. And at the end of it, feel like, we didn't have a date night because we're both distracted on our phones or work's coming up or something like that. And you're like, you spent all this time getting date night prepared and you're going out and doing something supposedly fun together and you're just as disconnected at the end as you were at the start, or even more so, because now you feel bad that you set aside this time and you didn't get anywhere in your relationship or connect any better. And so I would just really encourage you to think through those boundaries and think through how your phone and digital distractions are affecting you in your relationship. Just like honestly look at it.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sorry to interrupt. And when you're there, don't let it be where we're doing this so we can post it.
Okay.
And, we watched these girls on spring break, and it took them 20 minutes to take a photo. And sometimes I get a little teat with you. It's a girl thing, I guess. Like, just take the photo. Okay. It's bad enough you're taking the photo.
Okay.
But, just spending 20 minutes to get the right angle and the right light. Stop. Right? Why are we, and it's what, for the 5 people? And that's the thing. Even through all the social media and the likes and the followers and all the count and all that stuff, at the end of the day, when they did the surveys, it's 5 people in your life. Remember the My Circle, Altel, and the Singular Wireless?
Okay, yes.
So back in the day, guys, before we wrap it up, when you had to pay for your cell phone minutes, you can call 5 people unlimited.
Yeah. Are you going to pick me?
Because typically the average human being only has 5 people really that they would talk to on a regular basis and communicate with. Okay. And so at the end of the day, is it really worth that than to impress?
You're right. Right. It's all superficial.
It's all superficial. Yeah. And so, okay, you take your photo, but don't drag you guys out for bowling and you're just...
The best thing about it is the picture, right?
No, what I'm trying to say is you can't even enjoy the evening because you're just taking photos, posting.
Right.
Instead of and I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but make sure that you take time to get the return on the investment.
Absolutely. And especially...
Don't let the device be the distraction. Don't let the device ever be the driver in your relationship, in your date, in your marriage, in your home. You drive the device, the device drive you.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in that marriage relationship. And bring it up with your spouse if you're feeling that way or noticing it, and give them those tools that we just walked you through, those ways that you can push past that and be able to, connect deeper with your spouse. So.
Don't let this thing get you in trouble, right? Don't let it get you in trouble.
Yep.
Don't fight over stupid stuff that's, you liked and posted and commented and blocked and unblocked and followed. What is happening?
Yeah. I mean, is your phone more important to you than your husband or your wife?
I hope not. Open that thing up. And if you can't take
unlock
this,
it.
if you can't do
that,
that,
his code, so I can unlock it.
But if you can't do that, and if you're listening, I just gave her my phone and she unlocked it. If you can't do that, let's have some you really need to have some conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's a point. And maybe if you want us to go into more detail, we can, because we're over time.
We are.
We talked about having tools to help you plan, having date nights, and we talked about tools to help you plan, being intentional, having tech-free zones. What are some things that we have available to help them out with that?
So we have our freebie right now is our relationship planning guide. That's just the first step for you to really map out and get organized with prioritizing your relationship. He's distracted.
I am distracted.
Prioritizing your relationship, setting those goals. So that's just a freebie to get you just a free few page download that you can start implementing. We also have our Haven Planner for 2025. You can really start that anytime this year, but that goes into a little bit more in depth of really setting those goals, mapping everything out, so you can get that today as well.
Get that planner. It's kind of the first step.
Yep.
You want to take it a little bit further. You can get again, she mentioned the entire year, not just a month.
Yeah.
It's a great tool and asset to help you be intentional. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a game changer later this year. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a physical planner coming out. We're super excited, working very hard on it.
Yes.
So keep on the lookout for some great tools and resources, again, to help you communicate, help you win, help you stay together, help you understand one another, help you get over the roadblocks and the speed bumps in your marriage. Yeah. Because guess what? Yes, you can have a life-breathing, life-giving, Amen. Joyful marriage. And it is not supposed to be hard and difficult and the same things over and over again and miserable. And I don't understand her. He doesn't understand me. we can get past those things, and we're here to help you succeed in that. So stay on the lookout. If there's anything you would like to receive, let us know, because we're here for you to give you tools. So give us some ideas from you. Let us hear from you. We want prayer. Whatever we can do, again, we are here to serve you, and we love the opportunity. So hi at oakhavencompany.com or DM us, and we look forward to seeing you again for another great session on next week. Remember, it's wisdom that builds the house.